My name is Dr. Monique Bennett. I'm a lecturer and a researcher in the Department of Medical Biosciences. I lecture in the field of human biology for our undergrad students such as nursing and dentistry students, and my research is in the field of comparative spermatology. I work specifically with marine invertebrates. So that means I work with the little sperms that we find in the ocean for marine invertebrates. And we all know marine invertebrates are animals that do not have a vertebral column. And yes, they do release sperm. And they release sperm and eggs, and they release it out into the ocean. My research involves the effects of chemicals and toxins that we find in bodies of water. And these bodies of water are normally these wastewater that gets released into the ocean. And these chemicals and toxins, they actually become contaminants of emerging concern. And these contaminants are things such as our pharmaceuticals that gets put out into the ocean, our pesticides, herbicides, and personal care produce. So these are things like when you go to the ocean and you put on sunblock or suntan lotion, all of those chemicals ultimately ends up in the ocean. Is it going to affect how they're going to fertilize? Because if sperm cells cannot fertilize eggs, that means these eggs will be unfertilized and we won't have other generations of these marine invertebrates. The most exciting part of my job is I have the opportunity of actually leaving this lab and going outside to the ocean. And the other part of why it's so fun with what I do is that I can work alone, but I can also work in a team. So it's a very nice collaboration between you and your colleagues in the lab when you can work together on a project. This research is very useful because if we're going to, in the long term, use the seawater in a desalination plant, therefore use the seawater in order to produce potable water or drinking water, we're going to need to know how is the contaminants in the water going to affect both humans as well as the animals that live in the seawater. Because the animals can indicate if the seawater is healthy or if the seawater is in fact going to be toxic. If it's toxic for the animals, which is the marine invertebrates, it's going to affect the food web. And ultimately humans fit into that food web of the ocean. I would recommend this field of study because it is a growing field. We are never not going to need pharmaceuticals. We are never not going to need pesticides. However, we can understand how these pharmaceuticals and pesticides affect our water, affect our marine animals, and therefore we can maybe better our ways of using these pharmaceuticals and pesticides, therefore enhancing our environment instead of destroying our environment.